Congressman Shimkus's congressional seat. He's an Illinois state senator. He's Kyle McCarter. Kyle, welcome to Big 550 KTRS here in St. Louis.
Good morning.
You have said that John Shimkus is too liberal. How is that possible? The man has voted against Obamacare 45,000 times.
Well, just saying you're conservative doesn't mean you're conservative. What matters is how you vote. And we saw a great example of where he really stands in defending the people by how he voted on the omnibus bill. I mean, in that, he made it very clear that he was willing to fund Obamacare, Planned Parenthood, sanctuary cities, and the amnesty policies of the president. And I think
but you don't really think he's for those things.
Well, if you're not for them, then you take a strong stand against them, and he failed to do that. You see, he chose to take that vote in order to secure his position, his power, and his pension. He did that to make the leadership happy because we know he aspires to be the chairman of the leadership committee. I mean, the energy committee. And so
of the what committee? What committee? What committee does he want to run for? What committee?
Energy committee.
Energy committee. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry about that. But he's made it very clear where he stands on these issues. And you have to remember, since he came into office 20 years ago, for one, he promised he was for term limits 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's just he meant decades or that's just Common Core math, but it's not what he promised, and he broke his promise. And he's been breaking his promise ever since.
Yeah, but hold on a second. You're right. He did, and he has since been reelected over and over again. So the people have a chance to throw him out of office, and they've chosen not to. So the fact that he was for term limits, the voters have spoken, and that's who they want. So that really doesn't matter.
Well, that's not true because he's never had an opponent. He's never had an opponent for 20 years, and the people.
That's not true at all. He has had Republican primary opponents in the past.
Yes, he's had some Democrat opponents, but he's never had a Republican challenge in the Republican primary, and the people have not been able to nominate who's going to be their candidate in the general election. And that's what. And here's the problem: career politicians tend to make decisions that are not in our best interest.
What do you do now, sir? Aren't you a career politician? Aren't you a state senator now?
I'm a state senator, but I have a legitimate way of making a living in the manufacturing business. I've started my business. I've been in business 25 years. I started from nothing. I negotiate with my own money. And whether I negotiate well determines whether I take a paycheck home in my business.
How long have you been how long have you been in politics?
I was on the county board locally for 8 years, and I've been in the state senate for 7 years.
So 15 years you've been a politician. Are you?
And I've made a legitimate living the whole time as well.
Well, I understand that, but you're a career politician. 15 years. That's a career right there, isn't it?
Well, no, here's the difference. I can step away. The difference is our congressman has done just that and nothing but that.
So are you willing to make a pledge now that you're for term limits? How long will you run for this seat?
I am. I'm term limiting myself in the state senate. I will not run again in 2018.
No. If you win,
I
yes,
will commit to serving no longer than 10 years.
10 years. So we'll be 25 years as an elected official.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it true, Kyle McCarter, Illinois State Senator, running for Congressman Shimkus' spot in the primary? If you put two conservatives in a room, one of them has to be a liberal?
Well, there is a difference between the choice that people have is very different. Would I have shut down the government over Planned Parenthood? Absolutely, I would have. Here's the problem. We send people there to negotiate. They have never had to negotiate with their own money. I mean, I have to negotiate with my own money all the time. And whether I'm successful or not depends on whether I take home a paycheck. We've got people in Washington that passed this omnibus bill, and the other side said they gave away the store. If one of my employees goes into negotiations and comes out and I hear the other side say they gave away the store, I'd fire them.
But the difference between you owning your own business and you being a congressman, you don't own the government. You have to work with the other side. You have a Democrat in the White House. So it would be like you're negotiating with an equal partner. You have to give and take, and you can't get every single thing you want every single time.
We understand that. And that's why even in the super minority in the state, I've been able to get some things done. I'm sure in the majority I could get something done. It's a matter of how you negotiate and whether you're willing to walk away from the table and say, listen, the people need more.
Why don't you but the state of Illinois is in a budget crisis of epic proportions. You have a Republican governor, and you can't get a budget passed.
Well, there's reasons we're not getting a budget passed. I mean, it's a political impasse. We all know that. But I'm the only one in the Republican Party who has actually published a budget and laid it out in a 5-year plan as to what needs to happen. And that budget still applies.
Quickly,
go to that.
Kyle McCarter, I'm assuming you're against Obamacare?
Absolutely. But you can't just be against Obamacare. You've got to put something on the table to actually replace it. And so, just that one soundbite saying you're against it and you voted against it 40,000 times is not enough. We've got to put something on the table, put it on the president's desk, and say, listen, if you don't like it, veto it.
How would that look? What would that look like? Yeah.
Well, it would be competition across state lines, to where you can develop a catastrophic policy that's affordable,
sure,
and health savings accounts, and it would look at wellness, not just access, because the system that we got right now we know is unsustainable.
Would I be forced? Would I be forced to buy health insurance?
No.
No. Great. So the day after I get diagnosed with cancer, I can then buy health insurance?
Well, responsibility has to play a part in this, and you're going to have a way for people that are uninsurable to get insured. But the system that we have right now.
Well, how would you do that?
Failure. Well, I just told you.
No. But if you're not forcing me to buy health insurance, how would you force people to buy health insurance without forcing them to buy health insurance?
Well, listen, I gave you a plan for replacing Obamacare that's 3 times as in depth as Donald Trump gave on national television.
Well, I understand that, but I'm talking to you. But the major,
are really good at it. But they can help develop this system.
Sure, but the major point of Obamacare is forcing Americans to buy health insurance. You want to do away with that, which sounds great. And I would love to be able to buy health insurance the day after I'm diagnosed with cancer. Well, what am I paying for it now?
Well, listen, if you make these policies affordable and sustainable, you're not going to have a problem with people opting out of this. I mean, in my company alone, my rates went up 40% January 1, and it forced me to make some tough decisions in my business. Now, my coverage didn't get better. It didn't get better with the increase in cost. I mean, we've got people that know how to fix this thing. I mean, talk to a health professional right now who's being forced to cut their costs down to where they even step out of practice. I mean, they know how to fix this thing, and there are smart people that we can sit down with and develop a plan and have a plan to replace Obamacare that works.
Kyle McCarter, we have to leave it there. Illinois State Senator is running against Congressman Shimkus in the primary. Sir, we'd love to have you back on in the future as we get closer to Election Day. Thank you, sir. 8:52.